Hi guys, thank you for coming back to my channel. This is Sonia, and today we are going to talk about Thor as we know him today. So this is not a historical way of looking at him. I might bring in some things like I do know, like on the top of my head and stuff, but this is not a historical look. This is a how do we see him today? Using two sources, which is going to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to when the Avengers get together, the first film, I haven't got any past that, and God of War Ragnarok and God of War 2018. I am probably not going to be spoiling Marvel too much. I really, like, I think I watched all the first films up to the point where they get together in the first film. So I'm not too worried about that, but I will be spoiling Ragnarok, God of War. So if you don't want to be spoiled, for that, I will let you know when I'm going to that section. So Marvel, so Thor was always the people's favorite god in Norse mythology. Like that was the god that everybody looked up to when it came to like their favorite, the one they trusted, and he always had the hammer. So, what I think they did a really good job with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is they kept his hammer. He's supposed to be red-haired. So blonde is actually might be comic book correct, but was not historically correct. And to me, he's very clean cut, even though he has the long hair. A couple of things to note is that a lot of this culture is the Viking culture, which it's very important to have the long hair, but usually it is braided. Braids are really important to the culture of Norse mythology. Longer your braid, the more battles you've won, and it's that type of story. So having Thor as somebody in the cinematic universe that's very clean cut, to me, he comes off as very vanilla. Like, I don't, and like I said, I gave you my sources. I really feel like him and Captain America are a little bit too close when it comes to characteristics off of each other. Like, I feel like there's two very clean cut heroes that are just nobly correct, and then you have Loki that just looks like the bad guy because you have these two clean cut dudes, and I'm like, okay. And Loki technically is a giant. He gets to hang out with the gods because he's special, but yeah, he's part of he's part giant. So um and then so I am going to go in. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can tell, is not my favorite way of looking at Thor. I think they do the hammer correctly. Like, nobody can pick up his hammer. He's the only one. And I feel like they make the hammer look good. But overall, I just think he is definitely like a Marvel superhero. Like, it definitely, Marvel made him feel like a Marvel superhero. Where, spoiler alert for Ragnarok, God of War, this Thor has seen everything happen to this guy. So he is very down on his luck. He is being pushed down by everybody. And he is definitely out for revenge. So basically, in the first game, Kratos, can't think of a lead person from lead character of God of War. Like, trivia question, it felt like for a second there. Sorry, guys. Kratos defeats and his son defeat both of his sons, Thor's sons. Now, this hits him really hard. Even though, like, he doesn't seem like he likes his sons too much. I don't know what his whole issue was. We don't get that backstory. We just get you killed them. I don't like you. It's as simple as that. And then we get to play as Kratos' son. I'm just going to call him Loki because we did spoiler alert. So we play as Loki, and basically what you see is a damaged man. And I think this really fits. Like, he is not a gorgeous character. He does not, like, he is down on his luck. His hair is all messed up. He has the red hair. I think he has beads and stuff, which fit with the culture. God of War does a really good job with how they represent these gods. Like, I've seen some of the stuff for the Greek gods, knowing what I know about, like, Norse mythology, they did such a good job. But he is down on his luck. He's a drunk, which would make sense. They didn't really drink water in those days. I don't know when purified water came into play that you didn't get sick off of, but not in those days. So, and he's found in a bar, like, pretty much beating everybody up. This, like, he feels so human in God of War. And it is a really big theme of child loss. If you're somebody that's not something you want to deal with, like, go into the God of War story, the 2018 and Ragnarok, like, with trigger warnings, because there's parent loss, there's child loss, there is, like, loss of a pet. Like, nobody's having a good day in this. Let me put it that way. So, and then when we see him, he's going through all this, and then you have Odin tearing him down through the whole Ragnarok storyline that we're seeing. So Odin's like, you're stupid, like, all you can do is beat stuff up, and this and that. And I love the last scene is him, like, telling Odin no. And then I'm so mad at Odin because he stabs his son, and is like, oh yeah, don't need you anymore, you're useless to me. And that's how Thor ends in the Ragnarok series. It's not Kratos defeating him, it's Kratos, like, legit standing there with the kids in the back, like, you know, hey, don't kill him. And Kratos is like, we're done. And then he gets stabbed anyway by his own father. So, and there's a lot of other things I could talk about, but I've seen some gameplay of the Greek trilogy. I am not going to go over that story until I know more. And then we can talk all about themes of the 2018 and Ragnarok. But I think this gives Thor, like, importance of character. Like, he is just a man. Yeah, he lives forever. But in all honesty, this man just lost 2 children. He's being brought down by his main figure, which is Odin. And he's just so down on his luck. And then you finally see him rise, and then he gets stabbed, unfortunately. So I just thought his story in Ragnarok is a amazing storyline. Now, historically accurate, I have no idea. I didn't look into seeing. I really hope that's not the case. Sorry guys. Yeah, but yeah, I really had to talk about kind of where I'm at with when it comes to how we see this character today. Now, like, if you were to hear like what the people are saying about Thor, like, it would definitely be different. I felt like Odin was more worshipped in God of War than he was in like history and stuff like that. Like, I don't know too much about Odin really to begin with. Not as much as like you hear about like the god, the Greek pantheon, the Roman pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon. Like, there's a lot more stories tied into it than what we hear about the Norse. And it could be like cultural related, because I know like Egyptians had their own way of writing, so did the Greeks and the Romans. I don't think the Norse, like, that was as important to them as just vocal storytelling. I know we have the Vinland sagas that was written during that time, but we really don't have much when it comes to like all the gods and the goddesses, what happened with Ragnarok, what's that full story. Like, it's it's a very broken history that I think, like, we still, probably even to this day, we can still find out more and more. And then England came up, and they, I don't know if they came, if their main religion is Catholic, if Catholics like completely, but there was a lot of that when the Vikings were coming over to England and stuff like that, because they were trying to take over territories. They could have maybe been the next Roman Empire, in some ways, because, sorry guys, if they had like more planning on how to take over these areas, they just did not. So they didn't conquer as much as they probably wanted to, and then they kind of died out because it's, you know, and then we went, oh, sorry guys. Yeah, but that is everything that I just wanted to talk about. I might do this if we get more, or if there's another character I want to look at. I mean, I would like to at least have two sources. So I can't really talk about Odin too much because I only have that source. Maybe I can do something different with like Odin, like did they do it right or something. Oops, sorry guys. There's a couple things with like Loki I could do. I could just talk about Loki as just, so kind of let me know all the things. But anyway, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.